You're camping in the desert. You go to sleep. In the distance, coyotes are calling. Maybe a high-pitched squeal you haven't heard before, but nothing to worry about. You go to sleep, and in the morning you wake up, minus a few pieces. Any place you find humans, you find urban legends. And here in the Mojave Desert, we got hundreds. Some you hear about, some you read about, and some might just crawl up and bite you right on the... During the United States' long involvement in war in Iraq, you might have seen pictures like this. Said to be proof of a ferocious insect that plagued our soldiers with a variety of fearsome attacks. Supposedly the size of a small cat, and with huge fangs capable of injecting a pain-numbing venom, these monsters would bite troops at night and feed on their blood or flesh without the unwary victim knowing, until he or she awoke in the morning and found large chunks of flesh missing and a hideously infected wound. The culprit of this midnight horror show was said to be what the locals called the camel spider. So named because of its predilection for running alongside a fleeing camel, its major source of prey in the desert, then jumping up and tearing its stomach open so the poor beast's entrails fell out on the ground. And if that wasn't enough, the camel spider would then crawl inside the open belly and lay its eggs, with the idea that the young would then hatch and feed on the remaining flesh. But if that too wasn't enough, the monster was also said to be able to run up to 25 miles an hour, and that as it did so, it would emit a high-pitched, terrifying scream that could be heard across the desert at night, scaring anyone within earshot who knew what they were hearing. Another camel spider on the attack. Now, we do have camel spiders in the Mojave, although we call them sun spiders or wind scorpions because that's what they are. They're kind of a mix between a spider and a scorpion. And they're not very big, and they're totally harmless. So why should we care about a giant that lives in the Middle East? Well, because according to a favorite urban legend of the Mojave, the giant camel spider didn't stay overseas. When the Marines pulled out of Iraq, vast quantities of military supplies and equipment were shipped back to bases located in the Mojave Desert. And guess what was hiding in many of the thousands of shipping containers sent back? Yep, the giant camel spider. And once here, it was able to run out into the Mojave and establish enough of a breeding population that soon, as the legend goes, hikers, campers, and other visitors to the desert began to hear the eerie high-pitched scream of the giant camel spider at night, and awake to find ugly wounds on their bodies or even missing pets and livestock. The monster had found a new home. Now, you might have noticed I've used the words urban legend, allegedly, supposedly, because in 30 years of exploring in the Mojave, I have not met a single person who claims to have actually seen a giant camel spider. And as far as attacks of leaving chunks out of people or animals or pets, I haven't heard that either. Now, we do have them, like I said. They are quite small. And we encounter them all the time. I've had them come home in my backpacks. When I set it down, then one will crawl out. Just recently, I caught this guy in the laundry. Well, after he had went through the washing machine, didn't survive that. And I do have a story for you. I was at a bar, I was standing there talking to a friend, and all of a sudden I felt something crawl up my leg. Immediately, I shook out my pant leg, and this guy dropped out. So take a look at this phone video. And yes, those are my cowboy boots there. And he was running all over. Now, the waitress at this place went ahead and caught him in a beer mug and let him go outside. And when she came back in, she said that was the third time she had caught him inside that week. So there he is, the monster himself. Maybe not quite as tall as some of the tales, but out here nonetheless. I'm Behrman. I'll see you next time. Hey guys, I'd like to personally invite you to join the channel by subscribing if you haven't already. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, maybe even a share. It really does help. Thanks.